All right, say hi, everybody.
In front of a white background. I think he just needs to take a picture of us.
No, I need you guys to stay there. I definitely don't go anywhere. All right?
Yes. For how long?
For a minimum of 4 to 6 minutes. So
Oh yeah, no worries. Go ahead.
sit right there. All right. There we go. Okay, so there they are. All right, here's my outline. Okay, so my name is Martin Lowry. I'm gonna be talking today about how to make coffee. One of the things that's pretty cool that I learned about when I'm preparing for this speech was that coffee is actually considered a seed and not, coffee beans are considered a seed and not a bean. So pretty interesting. Hey Cooper, give Daddy a second, okay? Okay, just give me a second. So, at the end of this speech, what you're gonna realize is how to make one of the best cups of coffee you have, and it's gonna be awesome. Alexa, timer 4 minutes. So, to prepare for making coffee, let's go over a couple of basics. You're gonna need your coffee grounds, coffee filter, here's one prepared, spoon, coffee grinder, coffee pot, and you can use pretty much any kind of coffee pot that you want. I got a Mr. Coffee because not only is it cheap, it's affordable. So those are the things, the basic items that you're gonna need. It's water, coffee grounds, a filter to make sure that the coffee stays still and doesn't get in your coffee. And then if you have beans, if you wanna get fancy, you can go that way too. So let's talk about coffee in general. I have something to show you, reference coffee. Sorry guys. Now this is the bean belt. As you can see here, it's the map of the world and it's got a portion highlighted all the way across. Now, without getting into too much specifics, because frankly I could talk about coffee for about an hour. The short version is this band is called the coffee, in this diagram is called a bean belt, but it's also known as a coffee band more commonly. This area here is where coffee can grow the easiest, and therefore that's why you probably recognize, if you're a coffee drinker, Ethiopia here, Guatemala, Colombia, Brazil. Brazil is one of actually the world's largest producer of coffee. Sumatra. And that's because those are the countries that are producing these types of coffee you see in Starbucks, Dutch Brothers, kind of wherever you want. So that kind of gives you an overall idea of where your coffee comes from. Not to say you can't grow coffee in other parts of the world. It's just that this is where it's most consistently grown, and therefore, you know, it makes the map as far as being the world's biggest producers. So let's get on to making some coffee. So, got your water prepped here, you got your filter. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is, if you have beans, I don't have them here today, but if you did, you'd have an obvious bean. But right now I've got coffee grounds, and that looks just like this. Okay. Now in order to get that finely ground coffee, you would put your beans in a machine like this, a grinder, and it would grind the coffee up. And what you'd be left with is this. So then after that, you're gonna put the coffee inside the machine here. It's a very easy system. Water, labeled here, gets added in the back of the coffee. Measure as much as you want. As you do a 10 cup, you're gonna put the coffee pot right there, so you make sure you get it. Make sure this knob is put on over the top of the coffee, and then the water's gonna get sucked up and then come right out of here and drain right on top of the coffee. The filter's gonna keep the grounds inside the top here, and all the water will run through and end up in your coffee pot. Close here, you can select on. Now we're gonna brew this for tomorrow morning. So in order to do that, you're going to hit this button here. It's going to delay brew. Now, most coffee places have a very similar function. It just allows you to brew it later. And that's it. The one last thing I'll say about the water, which is important, is to not use water that doesn't have any minerals in it. Best water you can use, mind the dishes, is the tap water. All right. That's pretty much how you make a cup of coffee. Alexa, timer off. Thank you very much for listening to me about that. Bear with me 1 second, I'll get my PowerPoint down. So review, you're gonna need a coffee maker, coffee grinder, coffee beans or grounds. You need water, make sure you use nice mineral water if possible, a spoon to measure. If you're good like me, you don't need a spoon, and a napkin unless you're messy like me, you obviously need to use that too. Last thing I'll talk about is coffee is so enjoyable for me, and I really enjoyed having the time to teach you how to make a good cup of coffee. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.